When talking about the phenomenal figure of Jimi Hendrix, we are discussing a legend who transcended the boundaries of music itself. Jimi Hendrix is often regarded as the greatest instrumentalist in the history of rock, a visionary who didn't just play the guitar, but conquered it. With limitless creative drive, extraordinary technical ability, and his revolutionary use of effects such as wah-wah and distortion, Hendrix expanded the vocabulary of the electric guitar into territories no musician had ever explored before. He blended a wide range of genres, from blues, R&B, soul, British rock, American folk music, and 1950s rock and roll to jazz, to craft a signature sound that later became the foundation for hard rock, heavy metal, funk, post-punk, and grunge. His influence remains deeply felt in modern guitar playing, where his techniques and expressive style have become universal references. Even after his death, Hendrix's allure has never faded. His album sales continue to surpass the numbers he achieved during his lifetime, solidifying his status as one of the most creative and influential musicians of all time. It all began with a little boy obsessed with the guitar. Born as Johnny Allen Hendrix on November 27, 1942, Jimi's deep fascination with the instrument was already evident during his school years at Horace Mann Elementary in Seattle in the mid-1950s. Almost every day, he carried a broom and played it as if it were a guitar, a habit so strong that it caught the attention of the school's social worker. After more than a year of seeing Hendrix clutch the broom like a security blanket, the social worker even wrote a letter requesting financial assistance to buy him a real guitar, believing that denying him a proper instrument could have a negative psychological impact. However, the effort failed, and his father still refused to buy him a guitar due to financial limitations. A small stroke of luck finally came in 1957. While helping his father with a side job, Hendrix found an old ukulele among a pile of discarded items at a woman's house.
The woman allowed him to keep the ukulele, although it had only one string.
With this simple instrument, Jimi learned entirely by ear, playing single-note melodies along to Elvis Presley songs, especially Hound Dog. In mid-1958, at the age of 15, he finally received his first acoustic guitar for $5. From that moment on, Hendrix played for hours every day, absorbing guitar techniques from anyone more experienced and immersing himself in the blues music of Muddy Waters, B.B. King, Howlin' Wolf, and Robert Johnson. Not long after acquiring the guitar, he formed his first band, the Velvetones. But without an electric guitar, Hendrix's sound was almost inaudible in the band's lineup. 3 months later, he realized he needed a more powerful instrument. His wish was fulfilled in mid-1959 when his father finally relented and bought him a white Supro Ozark electric guitar. With this guitar, Hendrix began his journey on stage. His first performance with an unnamed band at the Jaffe Room, Temple de Hirsch in Seattle, ended abruptly when he was fired mid-show for improvising too much. Even so, he soon found a new place with the Rockin' Kings, who performed professionally in various clubs, including Birdland. After his guitar was stolen, left behind the stage overnight, his father bought him yet another instrument, a red Silvertone Danelectro. Before turning 19, Hendrix was twice caught driving stolen cars and given a choice between prison or joining the army. He chose the military and enlisted on May 31, 1961. After basic training, he was assigned to the 101st Airborne Division at Fort Campbell, Kentucky. Amid the harsh realities of military life, Hendrix, who had previously left his Silvertone Danelectro guitar at the home of his girlfriend, Betty Jean Morgan, wrote to his father asking for the guitar to be sent to him immediately. That guitar became his escape and source of comfort amid the pressures of duty. However, his obsession with the guitar caused him to neglect military responsibilities, sparking criticism from superiors and conflict with fellow soldiers. A turning point came in November 1961 when a soldier named Billy Cox heard Hendrix play and was instantly impressed. The two began playing together and performing at bass clubs on weekends with a band called the Casuals, marking the beginning of a musical partnership that would later continue into Hendrix's professional career. Although he completed parachute training and received the Screaming Eagles patch in January 1962, his performance as a soldier was still considered poor. He frequently violated discipline, fell asleep on duty, and was deemed unsuitable for military service. On June 29, 1962, Hendrix received an honorable discharge. After leaving the Army, Jimi Hendrix began navigating the music world, earning money by performing with various bands, playing in clubs, and working as a backing musician. In early 1964, feeling he had outgrown that circuit and grown tired of following band leaders' rules, Hendrix moved to the Hotel Teresa in Harlem. There he met lithophane Fay Pridgeon, an important figure who gave him a place to stay, support, and encouragement amid the harsh competition of the music scene. During his time in Harlem, Hendrix won an amateur contest at the Apollo Theater and began participating in various recording sessions with the Isley Brothers, Don Covey, and several other soul and R&B artists. After stints with Little Richard and Curtis Knight, Hendrix became dissatisfied with being a supporting player and eventually moved to Greenwich Village in 1966. In this freer and more creative musical environment, he formed Jimmy James and the Blue Flames, performed at renowned clubs, and developed his revolutionary style. The turning point of Hendrix's success came in May 1966 when he performed with Curtis Knight at the Cheetah Club. It was there he caught the attention of Linda Keith, Keith Richards' girlfriend, who was mesmerized by Hendrix's playing style and charisma. The two even had a brief relationship. Recognizing Hendrix's immense talent, Linda introduced him to Chaz Chandler, former member of the Animals, who was looking for new talent to manage. After watching Hendrix perform at Café Wah, Chandler immediately knew he had found a star, especially after hearing Hendrix's rendition of Hey Joe. In September 1966, Chandler brought him to London and signed him to a management contract. There he formed the Jimi Hendrix Experience with Noel Redding and Mitch Mitchell, a lineup that became the foundation of Hendrix's explosive rise on the world music stage. The trio released 3 albums now regarded as masterpieces. Are You Experienced, which catapulted Hendrix onto the global stage, Access Bold as Love, which showcased deeper emotional expression and a more refined psychedelic sound, and Electric Ladyland, the only Experience album to reach #1, displaying Hendrix's most experimental side. However, internal tensions and an exhausting work pace led to the Experience's breakup in 1969. Hendrix then formed Band of Gypsies with Billy Cox and Buddy Miles, producing their only live album, Band of Gypsies 1970, which featured funk, blues, and extended improvisations. Though short-lived, both musical projects demonstrated Hendrix's extraordinary evolution as an innovator, from explosive psychedelic rock to profound funk rock exploration.
As a rock star who shone brightly in his era, Jimi Hendrix's life was never far from the presence of various women who colored his journey, much like any rock star living amid fame and allure. One of his earliest and most significant relationships was with lithophane Fay Pridgeon, the Harlem woman who gave him a place to stay, emotional support, and protection when he was still struggling in New York. Hendrix also had a relationship with Betty Jean Morgan, who once kept his red Silvertone Dan Electro guitar while he was serving in the military. There was also Linda Keith, the English model and girlfriend of Keith Richards. Not only did she have a brief romantic involvement with Hendrix, but she also played a crucial role in opening doors for his career, eventually leading him to Chaz Chandler. As his fame began to rise in London, Hendrix developed a close relationship with Danish model Kathy Etchingham, a relationship considered one of the most stable in his life and often described as the truest love he ever had. Yet his turbulent life also brought him to Devon Wilson, known as the most wild and complicated love he had. Throughout his journey, Hendrix was also known to be close to several other women, such as Monika Dannemann, a German painter who was with him on the night before his death, Carmen Borrero, a waitress at Whiskey A Go-Go whom he met in 1967, and Diane Carpenter, believed to be the mother of Hendrix's daughter, Tamika Hendrix. He also had a relationship with Kristen Neffer, a Danish model who had a brief romance with Hendrix in September 1970, as well as Uschi Obermeier, a German fashion model and actress who became an iconic sex symbol of the '68 movement in Germany. Among all these romantic stories, one of the most intriguing and long-lasting was his relationship with a Swedish woman named Eva Sundqvist, whom he met while touring in Stockholm in 1968. From this relationship came a son, James Daniel Sundqvist, who is widely believed to be Hendrix's biological child, although he never had the chance to officially acknowledge him. After Hendrix died in 1970, Eva filed a legal claim regarding her son's status, but the case never reached a final decision. Though close to many women and often seen as a romantic figure, Jimi Hendrix's love life remained marked by turbulence and instability, an emotional journey that ran parallel to the complexity of his life and his music. On his journey to the top of the music world, Jimi Hendrix not only faced creative pressure, but also the heavy challenges that came with fame. According to various accounts of his life, Hendrix was a man of immense talent yet full of contradictions. In 1969, when he had become the highest-paid rock musician in the world, Hendrix still felt uneasy performing in front of massive crowds, such as at Woodstock, where large audiences often triggered anxiety and intense pressure for him. He even chose to move his scheduled Sunday midnight performance to Monday morning, playing to a crowd that had shrunk from hundreds of thousands to around 30,000 people. There were also moments when Hendrix displayed overwhelming generosity. In 1962, for example, he once walked into a small jazz club in Clarksville, Tennessee, and spent nearly all of the $400 he had saved during his Army service simply because he felt too kind, giving money to anyone who asked. Unfortunately, alcohol and drugs became one of the darker elements of his life, never a source of creativity, but a source of trouble. When drunk, Hendrix could become irritable, impulsive, and occasionally aggressive, something that sharply contrasted with his usual gentle, quiet demeanor. All of this shows that behind his brilliance on stage, Hendrix was a human being fighting his own inner battles, vulnerable, sensitive, and constantly trying to navigate the mounting pressures of a world that grew heavier as his fame exploded. A series of prestigious honors continues to solidify Jimi Hendrix's legacy as one of the most influential musicians of all time. Both during his life and long after his passing, his works have been widely recognized by the music world. The Jimi Hendrix Experience was officially inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1992 and the UK Music Hall of Fame in 2005, while the Hollywood Walk of Fame dedicated a star to him on November 14, 1991. Hendrix was also inducted into the Native American Music Hall of Fame in 1998, and in 1999, readers of Rolling Stone and Guitar World named him one of the most important musicians of the 20th century. His albums have earned several Grammy Hall of Fame awards, including a Lifetime Achievement Award in 1992, followed by inductions for Are You Experienced and Electric Ladyland in 1999, as well as Axis Bold as Love in 2006. In 2016, his name was once again honored through induction into the Rhythm and Blues Music Hall of Fame, further cementing the fact that his legacy transcends genres and generations.